This is the HoverAir X1 Pro Max, and it is the best follow drone you could get here at the end of 2025, heading into 2026. It shoots 8K video up to 30 frames per second. It shoots 4K video in 10-bit with log modes. As a follow drone goes, this is the best thing I've used, and I want to thank Hover for sending this out, making today's video possible. However, they are not sponsoring today's video, and they're not seeing this video before it comes out. This isn't going to be a proper review of the drone because, to be honest, I don't use every mode this drone offers. I really use the follow modes, and occasionally I'll use some of the modes with this beacon and the controller. So that was some of the footage I've taken over the past few months using this drone, and I want to talk now about the drone itself, because as you can see, this thing has the cage actually built into the sides, and it collapses just like this. So it's a very portable drone, especially compared to my portable drones I've had from DJI. I mean, this is all together in one little piece, where on the other DJI ones I have, you have to really add the cage afterwards, and it adds some bulk, adds things you have to bring, and so it's great that this is all in one small little package. The other thing I want to notate is the actual build quality of this thing. It is built to take a beating, and with a follow drone like this, you're going to hit trees and stuff. I mean, using this to follow me, I hit trees going like full speed, 25 miles an hour. And really, there's only a little bit of damage to like the side of the drone. You can kind of see it right here. I mean, nothing major, all minor scratches. And this thing hit the tree going full speed. And so I'm very happy with the durability of this thing. And then having the built-in cage, they made this out of some really strong alloy. I mean, I really can't bend this thing at all whatsoever. I'm sure there are ways, if you maybe have a stick or something that went through this, maybe you could break the propellers that way or something, but they really engineered this drone really great. And that's one of the things that follow drones really need to be. They need to be durable because they are going to take a beating, and this drone definitely doesn't falter on that point. Now, I also want to talk about flying this thing manually. So you could fly it manually using your phone, which you're not going to have that much range, but it is possible. But the really cool part about this kit is you can actually turn this beacon that I have right here, you can turn it into a full-on controller. So I've got these two pieces that I'll bring right here, and you can literally just plug it in to the side. So you plug it in here, you plug it in here, and then you can see it actually rotated right here, and you can fly just like this. You don't even have to have a phone plugged in. And when I'm on the go, that's how I've been flying in manual mode. I haven't even plugged in, but as you can see, there's a USB right here. You actually plug it into the port that's over here, and you could put your phone in this little cradle and have a much bigger screen. Now, although you can fly this drone in manual, I want to let you all know this is really best as a follow drone. These are just one of those features that you can fly it manually, but you're not going to get the kind of experience you have on some of the other DJI drones that can travel a lot further. I mean, you are limited on the travel distance of this, but for my purposes, I'm using this to film myself, so that hasn't really been a big deal. And whenever I've used this to film something, it's pretty much been houses, just testing this for real estate to see if you could do it. But I think the big thing this drone has going for it is the fact that it's got very decent image quality in this small little package. You can expect something like an action cam. You're not going to have mirrorless level image quality out of this. With a sensor and a camera this size, I wouldn't expect that, but I will notate that because I think for the price, this drone by itself at the normal price is around $700. I'll confirm it on the screen. And that's close to something like a Mini 5 Pro, and you are not going to get a DJI Mini 5 Pro image quality out of this. Again, it's going to be more action camera level, but you do get 8K. The 8K is really decent. You can only use 8K in the normal colored in video mode. If you want to use log or HLG in 10-bit, you are going to have to film in 4K. Now, speaking of those codecs, I want to talk about memory cards because that's one of the things that threw me off when I first got this. So I was using a bunch of V90 cards, and in the 8K mode, I kept getting write speed issues. So let's see if this picks this up right here. It's really small. I'm using this Lexar card, and my autofocus is having a hard time picking it up. But essentially, there we go. So this is a V60 card, and you can tell it's different from the pins in the back right here. So I've been using this V60 card with this drone, and they are a little bit more expensive, but I haven't been getting the write speed issues. So I'll leave a link in the description below. Kind of makes sense. The 8K, it's a lot of data. I don't know if you need per se a V60 card. Maybe there's just certain V30 cards that can't handle the 8K footage. But I do want to notate that if you want to shoot an 8K, I'd probably not risk it. Get the V60 card. They're not too expensive if you get the 256 gig one. This drone also has an internal 64 gigabytes of storage. It's not a lot, but it is enough to get a few shots if you're out there and forget your card. I think that's the biggest thing with drones and action cameras now, that all these manufacturers are adding in internal storage. I'm sure sooner than later we're going to start seeing these smaller cameras and drones starting to support V60, V90, as we do have those speeds in micro SD cards now. One quick note when it comes to charging this beacon right here, there are two options to charge it. It comes with this little magnetic USB-C charger, which is the simplest. However, if you want to be able to charge this thing over USB-C without bringing this little magnetic charger, you can charge it through the joystick if you end up buying it after the fact. One of the sides of the joystick, it actually has its own battery, and it has a USB-C that you could see right here. And if you decide to charge the joystick while the beacon is plugged in, you can charge them both at the same time. It's just for the price, when you look at what DJI is offering, you can get drones from them for a lot cheaper, but the tracking capabilities aren't as good as this, but the sensors on those drones are better. I mean, this drone, it really just has the sensor back here, and it has a sensor on the bottom right here, and that's it. So the sensors aren't quite as good on this, but I also haven't been able to get or trust the DJI drones to follow me on my bike going full speed like I can with this. I know with the DJI, they just added the functionality for the Apple Watch. I actually like using this beacon on the drone itself because Hover has created this quick release ecosystem where I could stick this thing on a quick release mount for my bike. I could stick it on GoPro type quick release mounts, and I could just put it on there, not worry about it, and you're good to go. You always have the video feed from the drone itself. And the other thing is you can do minor course corrections from this beacon. They call it Copilot, and you can't fly the drone as if you're using a controller, but what you can do is you can change your altitude, so you can increase it, decrease it. You can have the drone go a little bit more to the left or a little bit more to the right. These are all single moves. You can't do everything at once, but you can do it, especially if maybe, the drone's following you and it's a little bit too head level. You need it to be a little higher. Maybe you want it to be a little bit lower. You can do all that from the Copilot features from this beacon. ND filters, you could probably see I've got one right here. Let's see if the camera can get this in focus. Oh, come on. There we go. So I got the ND filter right here, and there is a full ND kit from Hover. You just slide them on the front of the drone, and if you're trying to get that motion blur in your footage, well, they offer a full kit up to ND64. And then as you can see right here, this is just the base frame that it comes with if you're not trying to use any ND filters or you're just buying the drone stock. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the battery charge system. The battery lasts around 16 minutes. It's going to be less if you're kind of maxing it out like I was full speed. However, if you get the combo, you can get extra batteries and this charger that uses USB-C. You can, of course, charge the drone through its own USB-C port, but if you're trying to use it for maybe like an hour, you're just trying to push this thing as much as you can in a short period of time, I would definitely recommend getting extra batteries, just because the battery life isn't quite as long on this as some of the bigger drones. But I mean, look, this thing is under 256 grams. It's incredibly light, lighter than you think it's going to be, especially when I've given this to some of my friends who are used to much bigger drones and they open this thing up. I couldn't believe how light it was.
So the settings I use for this drone are really the follow modes, the follow mode and the Dolly Track mode. Now the follow mode will let this thing follow you from behind, and it works incredibly well. You actually don't even need this beacon that I have right here. This is an extra, but with the beacon, you can see what the drone sees at all times. You can take a look right here. You can see everything that the drone sees. You can change some of the settings, such as what follow mode you're in, or even the camera settings, start and stop recording. And if this thing happens to lose track of you, it will use the beacon to actually figure out where you are, which has been pretty great. Other than the dolly mode and the follow mode, that's really all I use, other than the manual mode when you turn this thing into a joystick, because the other modes, they don't really speak to me like the follow modes do. This drone has worked better in the follow mode than any drone I have used, period. And that's why I was really interested in testing this thing out.
If you have any questions about the HoverAir X1 Pro Max or any other drones you want to see me review on the channel, let me know in the comments below. And if you got knowledge and value out of today's video, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date with the latest videos on the channel. And until next time, my name's Fagien. Thank you for joining me as always, and I will catch you in the next video.